your brain won't stop. You turn this thing over from every angle. You've made lists. You've talked it through with yourself at 2 a.m. and you've considered every possible scenario, every possible outcome, every possible way this could go. And you're still exactly where you were. Here's what I want to offer you today. What you've been calling overthinking isn't actually a thinking problem. It's a feeling problem. Welcome to the Truth Be Told Project. Let's get into it. Here's what this looks like on the ground. There's something in your life that needs a decision or an action or a conversation. And instead of doing the thing, your mind starts moving. You analyze the situation. You research it. You think about what people might say. You think about the past times this went wrong. You draft responses in your head. You consider timing. You circle back to the analysis. Hours pass, days, sometimes weeks. The thinking feels productive, like you're doing the work or getting closer to an answer. But the answer doesn't come. The loop just continues. And somewhere underneath all of that, there's something you haven't touched yet. Here's the real diagnosis. Overthinking is what happens when you use your mind to stay out of your body. The thing you're thinking about isn't actually a logic problem. It's something that has feelings attached to it. Fear, grief, anger, shame, uncertainty. And those feelings are sitting there, waiting. And instead of dropping into them, your mind volunteered for a different job. Keep moving up here. Stay in the analysis. Manufacture the sensation of progress. Because if you're thinking, you're doing something. And if you're doing something, you don't have to feel the thing that's actually there. Overthinking is a coping mechanism, a sophisticated one. It looks like diligence. It feels like responsibility, but underneath it's avoidance, and it's working exactly as designed. The default is this. Use the mind to manage what the body doesn't feel safe feeling. Somewhere you learned that having feelings or showing them or being seen in them wasn't safe or productive. Maybe feelings in your environment led to chaos. Maybe your emotions were dismissed or minimized. Maybe you learned early that the smart response is to think your way through everything. So your mind stepped up and it's been doing overtime ever since. The loop isn't leading you anywhere because you're not supposed to arrive. Arriving means the thinking stops, and if the thinking stops, you have to feel whatever's underneath it. So the loop continues, not because you're broken, because it's protecting you from something that hasn't felt safe yet. Here's the disruption. The answer you're looking for isn't in your head. Whatever you're circling, the decision, the conversation, the next step, it's not going to become clear through more analysis. The fog isn't a knowledge problem, it's an emotional one. And here's the second disruption. That feeling you're avoiding isn't as catastrophic as your mind has made it out to be. Feelings move through when you let them. They're not permanent. They're not an emergency, but they do require you to stop running long enough to let them surface. The overthinking loop is your mind's way of keeping you in motion so you never have to stop. But nothing resolves in the loop, it just keeps spinning. So here's how you start to work with this rather than against it. First, name what you're actually avoiding, not the situation, the feeling. Are you afraid of rejection? Afraid of being wrong? Afraid of success and what it will require? Afraid of a conversation that might change a relationship? Get underneath the topic and find the feeling. Second, drop below the neck. This sounds simple, and it isn't. Next time the loop starts, pause. Put your feet flat on the floor, take a slow breath, and ask yourself, where do I feel this in my body? Chest tight, stomach contracted, shoulders up? You don't have to fix it, just locate it. That act alone, noticing sensation in the body, starts to move the energy that the thinking was holding in place. Third, choose one small action, not the whole answer, just the next smallest move. Send the message, make the call, write the first sentence. The point isn't to solve everything, it's to break the loop with motion, real motion, not more analysis. Fourth, give yourself permission to feel without resolving. Sometimes the feeling just needs space. You don't have to fix it or understand it completely. You just have to let it be there for a little while without immediately covering it with more thought. Here's your commission. Think of the thing you've been thinking about the longest. The one thing that keeps coming back. The one that keeps the loop returning. And ask yourself honestly, what am I actually afraid to feel about this? Don't answer with logic. Don't answer with context or backstory. Just, what's the feeling underneath the thinking? You don't have to act on anything today. Just name it, even quietly to yourself. That's the beginning, because clarity doesn't come from more thinking. It comes from finally telling yourself the truth about what's actually going on. Until next time, remember, stop drifting and start designing.